So you're going to need for the big box on the front of your train that's got the window in, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 8 1/4 by 9 inches. Okay, and I'm using the scoreboard from Stampin' Up. So any Stampin' Up products that I'm using, I will you know, put the number of the item on the screen so then you can find it easier on my website. Okay, so like I said, 8 1/4 by 9 inches. Okay, so we're going to do some scoring, and along the 8 1/4 inch side you're going to score it at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches and 8 inches, and you're left with 1/4 inch here for flap to close your box. And then we're going to turn it round, and on the 9 inch side we are going to score it. I'm just going to check my template at 1.5 inches and 7.5. Okay, so we're going to just move this out of the way for the minute, and we're going to fold and burnish before we do any cutting. So we're going to fold and burnish. The cardstock I'm using is not from Stampin' Up. Just because I've only got a few supplies at the minute, so I'm building up my Stampin' Up stash slowly. So yeah, the cardstock I'm using is not Stampin' Up, but if you're wanting the cardstock to match the paper that we're going to use today, I will tell you what colours they are, so just bear with me. Let me have a look. So the paper that we are using is this one here, and this one is called Candy Cane Lane Designer Series paper. Okay, and the colours that will match this paper is Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Real Red and Whisper White. So if you're wanting the matching cardstock for, you know, with this paper, they're the colours that will go with the paper. Okay, but like I said, I've only got a limited, well, a small amount of stock at the minute that I'm using. So I'm just using what I have basically. So carry on folding and burnish. Okay. So I know there's some ladies that will be watching this actually subscribed to me when I made the previous train, which was the Zoo Babies train, and I know some of you have been following me since then, and that's just lovely to know that I had subscribers arrive when I made the train, so it's lovely. So now we're going to do some cutting. So I'm just looking at my template. Okay, so you'll see here you have this small rectangle here, and on this side you're going to cut them off. Okay, and I need to make sure that I'm in frame and I don't go out. Got to remember that. So then you're left with this tab here, and now we're going to cut up these score lines, and you're going to cut up to this horizontal score line here. Okay, and it round, and again cut up the score lines. Okay, now 4 pieces of patterned paper at 5 7/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, and they will go there, and it will leave a slight border because I've cut it slightly smaller than this rectangle here. It will leave a slight border all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to use some wet glue for this. You can use double-sided tape, anything you prefer. Okay, and again I'm using my own glue just because I haven't got any of the Stampin' Up ones just yet. So I'm going to add my liquid glue, and also you might prefer the glue that you use. You know, this glue that I've got here, which is the Kalau Tacky glue. I absolutely love this glue. It is, if you get glue all over your project or on your fingers, you can just rub it and it will come straight off, and it doesn't leave any glue, you know, any residue basically on your project. Okay. We need to decide which one of these we need to punch the hole for the window. So I'm just folding my box up to see, and obviously this seam here will be the back of your box. So it's this one here that we need to punch. So it's the second one in from where the your tab is, your 1/4 inch tab. So you're going to fold your flaps in. You are going to punch the hole in the tab here, and obviously when you fold the box up you will still see that hole, but it will get covered up with pattern paper anyway, so it doesn't matter at all. I'm just using a square punch here. You can use any shape punch you have. Okay, so I'm going to try and get that central as possible and punch. Oh, there we go. And you'll have your window, and as you can see it's punched a hole there as well, but that does not matter because it's going to get covered up with pattern paper anyway. So I'm sorry about the beeping, that's my washing machine. So for the window here, I've cut a frame out that will go around there in gold, in gold glitter cardstock. Stampin' Up does sell glittered cardstock. I'm not entirely sure if they do gold, but I believe they do the real red gold. The real red glitter cardstock that matches this paper. So that would be perfect as well. So yeah, basically I just punched out another one of them and then I cut round it to make a frame. So I'm going to add some glue to my frame, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding like I'm blabbering, well, talking a lot, and I'm really nervous because this is my first Stampin' Up tutorial, and it's quite a big project as well for my first video, so I'm a bit nervous, so please forgive me. So I'm going to add my frame. So before we put the box together, we need to add our reindeer, which is going to be the driver of the train. So Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is going to be the driver of this train. And for the reindeer, I am using, and I've misplaced it, here we go, the Santa Sleigh stamp set, and here is the reindeer. Okay, and also here is the reindeer stamped onto some coloured cardstock, and I've cut him out with the Santa Sleigh's framelits. Okay, so obviously his whole body is not going to fit in there, as you can see, so I'm afraid we're going to have to cut Rudolph's body. So we're going to cut, because there's no point having all of that. So we're going to have him behind, obviously inside the box, and we're going to have his head peeping through the window like that. So we're going to need to add some adhesive to the bottom of part of his body. So I'm just going to add some wet glue and add it towards the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to turn that over actually and see whereabouts I want his head. So, sorry, my camera, I just knocked my camera. Woo! Stay. So yeah, so it's going to be about there. So I'm just going to press that down. Sorry, my camera's, in fact, just let me adjust that, because let me just there we go. Hopefully that will stay now. No, it wants to move. Okay, so that is your Rudolph, should I say, as the driver. So we're going to add some double-sided tape to this tab here. So I'm just going to get some, and I'm having trouble seeing that because it's got the red cardstock behind it as well. Oh dear. Okay, so my adhesive is a bit too big for that tab, so I'm just going to cut off the excess. Don't you hate it when the adhesive sticks to your scissors? Okay, let's try that again. There we go. So we're going to peel off the backing and any excess glue hanging over. I'm just going to tuck in. Right, we got there eventually. So you're going to just fold your box over and it will line up. Okay, and then we're going to fold in the sides, bring the tab that's at the back of your box towards the front, and then the tab that's at the front bring towards the back. I'm going to add some adhesive to there. Okay, and I found my piercing tool, so I can peel that off quite easily. Fold that over and do the same to the other side. So fold your sides in. Okay. Sorry if my phone keeps, well, the camera keeps pausing for some reason. It does that. It like freezes. There we go. Look, it's doing it now. Okay. So you don't need to add any paper to the bottom of your box. You just need to add it to the top. So the piece of patterned paper that you need to cut for the top of your box is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and you're going to place it over the top, and like I said, it will cover that hole up, no problem whatsoever. So we're just going to add that. So I'm just putting a bit of wet glue on mine. Okay, and add that to the top of your box and press that down. Okay, and then what we're going to do is add some stickles, and this is Christmas red, and we're going to add it to Rudolph's nose like so. Okay, so that is your large box all done. So let's go on to the second box. This is the medium size box that's on the front of the train. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 7.5 inches by 8.25 inches. Okay, and on the 8.25 inch side, we are going to score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches, and you're left with 1/4 inch tab. And then on the 7.5 inch, we are going to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, and it can be a bit tricky doing it this way, so what I'm going to do is actually score it at 7 inches, because then that will, when you've scored it here at the 7 inch mark, that's 1/2 inch here, and then you can turn it around and then start scoring that way. Hopefully that makes sense. If you can score this side, because I'm right-handed, it's a bit more difficult. Yeah. So yeah, you score it at 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, 5 inches, and 7 inches. Okay, and then again we're going to fold and burnish on the score lines. sure to have the 1/4 of an inch on the left hand side, and I'm going to get a pen and actually mark on here and to show you which bits we're going to actually cut off. So we are going to cut off, if my pen works, these two here and this one there. Okay, can you see that? And then on the bottom it would do exactly the same on the other side. So it's basically a mirror image to what you've done here. And this side we are going to cut off this bit there and that bit, can you see? And the same on the other side, like that. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Okay. Okay. I might, you'll notice I'll be pausing the video and coming back. That's because I'm working this around my twins. So we're going to cut off where I've marked with my pen. Okay. Carry on, go around. Didn't cut that one very straight. Okay. And this box, I originally got the idea from Sam over at Pootles Papercraft here on YouTube. And she makes boxes, gift bags, all sorts. And I think this box that she had made was a one that you could fold flat, so you could store it away till you need it, basically. And she'd also done this one where the lid and the bottom of the box opens up. But for this one, we may have to stick it together, but if I've done it right, then it should, when you fasten, you know, close it all up, it should stay put and not have to put any adhesive on it. Okay, so now we're going to, I'm just looking at my template, and we are going to cut up the these score lines here. Okay, so you're going to cut up them to the horizontal line there. Okay, and these ones we are going to notch just to make the box close nicely. So what I mean about that is you just basically go in at a slight angle and cut to the top like that. So it's, can you see where it's cut at a slight angle? And this one as well. So as you can see, it's straight there. Cut it at a slight angle. Okay, and you're like left with a an angled shape tab, if you know what I mean. So we're going to do this one as well. See, my twins are getting restless again now, just because I'm filming. Okay, so that's what it will look like. And we're going to turn it around, and hopefully I can get up this, cut these score lines before they start really crying. Because I don't really want to keep pausing the video all the time. So we're going to notch them in as well. Okay. It's like they sleep mostly all the time, and as soon as I put the camera on, when I get 5 minutes to myself, they start. It's typical, isn't it? I'll be back in a minute. So what you're going to do next is you're going to round the corners on these tabs here that's got this 1/2 inch tab on the end, and you're going to round those corners. I'm just using my corner rounder. Okay, and that is so your box closes nicely. So we're going to add some double-sided tape to this 1/4 inch tab here. So I'll just get my double-sided tape. Okay, so I'm just going to peel off the backing. And I've got a bit of excess glue hanging over, so I'll just trim all that off. My little Megan is not happy, so I might have to stop the video. Okay, so when you folded that up, you're going to fold in the sides of your box, and I've added adhesive to the outside of my 1/2 inch tab, and that's just because when I close it, I can secure it in place. As you can see, it will stay, it folds in there nicely anyway, but I don't want it to pop open, once I've built the train. So I've put adhesive there, just to, and then I know that it stays closed permanently. So I'm just going to struggle to peel off the backing. Push that in like that, and I'm just going to put my fingers in, and again do it on the other side and peel off the backing. If I can. Okay, and push that in there like so, and press that down, and there we go. That is your medium size box put together. So we're going to add the pattern paper to this box as well. So you're going to need one piece that measures 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and that is for the top of your box. Okay, and then you're going to need just 3 pieces of cardstock to go around the side of your box, because one side is going to be attached to the larger box, and then this bottom part is going to be attached to the bottom of the train. So you're just going to need 3 pieces of pattern paper for this one, and they measure 1 7/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, and again I've cut them slightly smaller so it will leave a nice border around the edge. So we're going to add some glue again, any adhesive of your choice. So I'm going to add them to the box, and I'm just going to grab the front of the train so I can have a look at it, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything out, and it looks like I'm doing okay so far. So let's carry on adding the patterned paper. So this train would be perfect for a baby gift, or well, any child, any age really, even for adults. I know there's some big kids out there. My husband is certainly a big kid. So, and he absolutely loves this train that I made. Bless him. So yeah, so this would be perfect for any, you know, for any children at Christmas. Can have some sweets in it, and or it could be made into a nice Christmas table centerpiece, and that could also have chocolate in it for your guests. So I'm going to press that down nice and firmly. So that is your second box made, and now we're going to make the smaller one, which is this one here. Okay, so for this one you're going to cut it at 6 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches, and along the 6 1/4 inch side we are going to score it at 1 1/2 inches, 3 inches, 4 1/2 inches, and 6 inches. And then you're going to rotate, and along the 4 1/2 inch side you're going to score it at 1 1/2 and 3. Okay, and again you're going to fold and burnish on the score lines, and again use your bone folder. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my bone folder. So for this one we are going to cut off these 2 rectangles on the end here. Okay. Not quite cut that one off properly. Okay, so then you're left with that little tab on there, and again we're going to cut up these score lines, and we're going to notch as well. Okay, again turn it over, and the tab that's the second one in from your 1/4 inch tab here, so this one here, you're going to move that out of the way because you don't want to cut that one at all. So you're just going to basically notch on the sides of your tabs. Okay, so you're probably cutting off just a little bit like that, just to make your tabs look neater when you fold the box up. Okay, and I'm just going to leave those ones on the end for now because I can't remember if we need to actually notch those ones or not. Okay, so I'll just pull them off. Getting all my fingers all in a knot. Okay, so again we're going to put adhesive on this tab here. Okay, I'm going to peel off the backing. Okay, and because it's all, you know, the squares are all the same, it will fold over very nicely, and you just need to fold it flat and, you know. Okay, so again we are going to make sure that the come back here. So this is the seam where you just added your adhesive, so you want to make sure that's at the back. So you're going to fold in your sides, bring that tab that's at the back of your box to the front, and then the tab that's at the front of your box you fold towards the back. Okay, so we're going to add some adhesive to that one. Okay, and peel off the backing. Okay, and press that down. And do exactly the same on the other side. Find your seam of the back of the box, fold your sides in, and then add adhesive to this tab here. I'm just going to find my piercing tool because it would be easier to peel off that backing, because I'm struggling with just my fingers. And I'm sure I had it somewhere and it's gone walkies, so my fingers will just have to do. Okay. And fold that over. And then that is your smallest box for the front of your train made. So for the paper, for this one, you will need, let me just find it. Okay. You're going to need 5 pieces that measure 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. Okay, and you're going to put them all on the side of your box and the top of your box. Don't put any paper on the bottom of your box, because obviously that's going to be glued to the top of this box that we've just made, so it'll go on top like that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stick these down. Okay, so make sure that I'm putting it on the right one, so that one goes there. It's the bit where the steam comes out, you know, on the train. So I've got this wooden, small wooden spool, and basically what I've done is I've got some of the paper, and I'm just going to see how much, and it's 1/2 inch by, let me have a look, 1 7/8, and you're just basically going to wrap it around the centre of your spool like that. Okay, so then it will look like that. So I'm just going to get some glue, and on my other one I used hot glue, so I don't know if this is going to stay or not. I might have to use hot glue. And obviously if you're patient enough to keep it holded there with your thumb. So I'm just going to press it down for a few minutes, well, a few seconds. Is it going to stay? I might just have to hot glue it. Yeah. So I'm going to do that off camera. Okay. And actually I'm going to hot glue that in place. I'll just stick a bit of wet glue there to see if it does work. Okay, so just press it down. You hear Thomas, he's talking. Which will probably end up turning into a cry in a minute, because they'll Okay, so we've now made the 3 main boxes of your train, okay, and I managed to stick this stay stuck with that wet glue. So yes, you can use your wet glue to stick this down, no problem. So the next part we're going to do is the last part, and that is the bottom of the train, okay. And obviously you're going to need 3 of these boxes because you're going to need 2 for the trailer. Well, the trailers, should I say. So for them you're going to need 3 pieces of cardstock that measure 5 7/8 by 5, okay. And I'm just going to get my score measurements in front of me so I know what measurements they are to score. So just bear with me a second. Is that the one? What did I say the measurements was again? 5 7/8. Yep, that's the ones. Right. So we're going to need your scoreboard. Okay, so I'm only going to do make one of these boxes with you because obviously the other 2 will be exactly the same for the trailers. Okay, so I'll do this one on camera and then I'll do the other 2 off camera because it's just the same thing. Okay, so let me find my scoring tool. Right, so along the 5 7/8 of an inch, we are going to score it at 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 4.5, and 5. Oh. Okay, you're going to turn it on the 5-inch side and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. And again, I'm going to find it really hard to score it this side, so I'm just going to score it at 4.5 inches. Okay, so if you are okay to score this side, you'll score it at 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. Okay, but because I can't do it that way, I'm having to score it on this end, so I'm just going to turn my cardstock and score it at 4.5 inches again. Okay, and you'll do exactly the same with that to the other 2. So I'll just go over the measurements again just to make sure that you get it. So along the 5 7/8, you're going to score it at 2, 2.5, 4.5 and 5 inches. Okay, and on the 5-inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. Okay, I'll put all the measurements on my blog so you can you know, if you are not writing the measurements down now, then you can go and get it off my blog. So we're going to fold and burnish on the score lines. Okay, and I'll just get my bone folder. I'm filming this video in parts over a period of a few days, so that's why I seem to be a bit out of sorts and not find anything, because obviously with having children, I can't film it all in one go, so I'm having to do it in sections. So that's where the good old editing comes in to hand. So now we've folded and burnished, we're going to do some cutting. Okay, and we're going to cut off these two rectangles on the end here. So we're going to cut up and cut that one off, like so. And the same to the other side. Okay, and we're also going to just notch the little tabs. So then you're going to cut up these score lines here. Okay, and we're just going to take a little bit off those tabs like that. Okay, so that's what it will look like, and the same on this one as well. Okay, so that's what it will look like on that side. You do exactly the same to the other side. So cut up the score lines. And then just take a bit off the tabs. Okay. And I've not cut that one very straight, so I just trim that. Okay, so I'll just move them to one side. So now you're going to add your adhesive to the biggest tab here. Okay, and you're going to add it to the outside of the tab. Okay, and then peel off the backing. And fold that over and do it this way. Okay, so then that's what it will look like. Then you're going to fold in your sides, and again make sure the seam is at the back, and do exactly the same and add adhesive to your tab, well, to your flap should I say. It's going to close your box. Okay. Like that. And again on the other side, I want to make sure the seam's at the back. So there is the seam. Fold that one towards the front, and then the one at the flap that's at the front of the box, put towards the back of the box. And there we go. So that is the bottom of your train. Okay, and you'll do exactly the same with that to the other two pieces of cardstock. Okay, so then you'll get your boxes, and I'm going to have to do it this way just so you can see. So your large box will go first, and then the medium box, you want to make sure that this part with no paper goes towards your box, your bigger box, like that. Then you get your smaller box, again, with no paper. You're going to, in fact, I'll turn it this way so you can see. You're going to central that in the middle of that box, like so, okay. And then you would add your smoke chimney thingy me bob, whatever it's called, to the top of that one, okay. And then you would add this one to the bottom of your train, like that, okay. So you can use wet glue, but obviously it would take a bit longer to dry. But what I did is I just hot glued it all together. Just, you know, it's a lot quicker, and I just prefer hot glue for these sort of projects. So I'm going to go ahead and stick all this together, and then we'll move on to the trailer. So I'll be back in a minute.